welcome to the stage at the 2025 Calhoun County High School Football Media Day, the Ohatchee Indians. Ohatchee competes in 3A Region 6. The head coach of the Indians is Blake Jennings. Today, Coach Jennings has brought with him junior running back and linebacker Gus Hunter and junior lineman Braxton Davis. Coach Jennings, we will start with your opening comments, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey, we appreciate y'all having us down here today. I know this media day, to me, it stacks up against anybody in the state. You guys do a great job putting this on for these kids and recognizing these kids every single year. And we just appreciate what y'all do, and thank y'all for having us down here.
Very good. All right, we'll open it up to questions.
I'll ask some of the players a question, Braxton. And we want to kind of peel back some of the stuff you do with Coach Jennings and how he's brought you to this point. Tell us what it's like to be in this program, which has now kind of got some rich history to it, and I know you guys hit. So tell us what that's like in a weekly practice for you.
You know, we come out every day, and he's just about discipline. You know, everybody gets their job right, and he'll slow things down and let other people work through it, and he's always there to help if you have a question, and we're just always working to get better.
Yes.
Right, and like you said, we're ready to hit. I mean, Ohatchee's known for being a tough football team. When we walk out on Friday night and the team against us, they're gonna have a hard night. It is what it is. And Coach Jennings, he brings that to the table. And we've thrown the ball around a couple times last year, and now we're going back to that hard mouth, hit somebody in the mouth football, and I'm excited.
Got a question right here, Coach Jennings. Let's talk for a moment about you being back at the place where you were the assistant coach for 13 years, and one of those years you were named the, I remember right, the 3A Assistant Coach of the Year, voted on by the coaches.
Yes, sir.
What a great honor that was. And as an alum of Ohatchee, it's good to see you there. What does this mean to you to come back? I know it ain't home. Alexandria is where you graduated from, but if there's ever been a second home to you, it's Ohatchee, correct?
That's right. I did. I spent 12 years at Ohatchee, and it was a great 12 years that I was down there and got to work under some good head coaches during my time while I was there, and learned a lot about me as a coach and who I was. It's a special place, and that was the reason at the end of the day that I wanted to come back. Coach Finley decided, him and his wife, to go out to Texas, and when that happens, it was one of those things. I wanted that opportunity, hopefully, to be able to come back, and I'm glad I'm here because when you walk in the door, you come back in there, and you walk in the door. When we started workouts in June, it's like you never left. At times, it's a special place, and like these kids said, like you said a while ago, kids are tough. And that's what you like. Kids are tough. They're going to show up every day. They're going to go to work, and it's a good place. And also it goes back to the people you work with too every day. A lot of good people on campus that you work with, and people that I had worked with before. I think of people like Coach Poe. I think of people like Miss Maines. I think about all those people that were there. John Williamson's there. He's our offensive line coach, and he's like a mentor to me. He's been around Ohatchee for 10 plus years now. So yeah, it's a really good place. I'm glad to be back.
Great. Question? Yes, Mark Edwards.
Coach Jennings, your experience at White Plains, you got some things accomplished there. How has that made you different as a coach?
I just think you go into it as a head coach. 2 years ago, I became a head coach for the first time. When I left Ohatchee to go there, you really start to learn a lot about, as a head coach, there's a lot more to it than X's and O's. There's a whole lot more stuff that comes along with just being a head coach besides coaching football. And you learn organization, and you learn, how to get things done. And basically for me, like, I've created basically a sheet for myself where, hey, I need to get this stuff done in January, get this stuff done in February. And the longer you become a head coach, I know things like that become easier on you. But, going into it 2 years ago as a head coach, like I said, you learn all these things. Now you're able to get these things done and be able to be more involved in that football stuff on a day-to-day basis because you know what you're doing on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Like, you just, it feels natural to you now.
Question.
Blake, I know you'd like to come back to a roster full of returning starters, but are there some advantages to maybe having almost a roster reset and as you start anew there?
It is. It feels like it is a roster reset. I think they had 16 or 17 seniors last year, so it will be a group that is inexperienced. We'll only have 5 seniors this year on our team. And all of those guys will get to play though. You know, those 5 seniors will, but they haven't played a lot of football. Like we have a tight end who's going to be playing for us, Austin Carroll, who's never played, but Austin's one of the better athletes in the school. Kate Mann's another senior that's going to be playing some guard for us, playing a little bit of linebacker. He didn't play last year. So it is almost like a reset, like you said, for these guys. But at the end of the day, though, it's almost where you're getting to put your stamp on it from that point forward, you know, because those guys, it's all they know. And these guys right here, I coached these guys before I left. Before I left and went to White Plains, and they know what I'm about, and I think that's the good part. Because it wasn't gone too long, only gone 2 years. So the first day we walked back into the weight room, they kind of know, you know, and we mean business when we walk in here. We know we're going to get stuff done. It's not going to be a time for goofing off. There's a time and a place for that kind of stuff and having fun. But when we walk into the weight room, we walk on the field, we mean business at that point in the day. And I think that's what's made it an easy transition for me, because these kids knew me. You know, that's made it a lot easier.
Question right here. You talked about the weight room. These 2 guys, when they walked in, they must have thought they was going to a gun show because they got their arms out here. Between Braxton and Gus, who bench presses the most?
Ooh. I think you'll have that one. He weighs a little bit more than me, but you'll have me on that one.
He got you on that? What about squats and all that?
I'll have him in the squat.
And I think Gus has got it.
Definitely have him in the squat.
Gus got him on the, is it a pretty healthy competition between you 2 and the other guys on the line?
On bench and the squat, not so much. I got squat back.
Okay.
You got to squat by a good bit by everybody.
You want to tell the group here what's your maximum you squatted?
I've squatted 500 for 700.
What about bench?
I benched 285.
Pretty stout. Question back here.
Yeah. One thing for you guys, Gus and Braxton, you're obviously someone Coach deems as a leader, probably your players do. You know, what kind of pressure do you put on yourselves at Ohatchee, knowing what you know about that program? In bringing up the younger guys, or you guys feel like, hey, we got to talk to these guys, we got to teach them, we got to show them, because they're of course, you guys got another year and all that, but that's who's coming up. Do y'all feel any responsibility for that, and what's some of the things you do off the field to help with that?
Absolutely. You know, I grew up. I've been on varsity football since 8th grade. I played varsity football in 8th grade, so I've grown up with some good seniors to go around. You know, Troy Galloway, Jesse Basil, that have brought me in under their wing and taught me how to be a leader to the guys younger than me now. And outside of school, it's not just in school and in practice. It's, you know, I'll pick a couple of younger guys up that can't drive yet. It's just trying to be a leader and show them what to do once they're at a state that I'm at, to be able to lead after I'm gone.
Yeah, going off that, you know, I had a coach, he would take me under their wing, Owen Abernathy, you know, he taught me a lot of things, and he would hang out with me outside of school, and I think that's a big thing, you know, getting to know the younger guys outside of school, encouraging them, making sure they get to practice, and make sure, like, if they need extra work in the field, getting there, staying with them a little bit, and, you know, run them through some of the plays if they don't know what they're doing, and if they're lost, because, you know, they're going to be after us, and, you know, we want to leave something behind.
Question from Jim.
Yeah. Blake, congratulations on moving back. I saw the other day where Dominique had a little bit of a program at your place, and I think Eli came back and some of the other kids. Can you talk about what that means to bringing up the youngsters to, you know, fill in all these places as graduation knocks them off?
Yes, sir. You know, when you said about Dominique and Eli, those guys coming back, they came back and put on a little camp for our youth kids. And as they, you know, everybody wants to come see those guys when they're out there. So Dominique and Eli, they did a great job with that. And that's something they're going to do every year. You know, Dominique's playing at Ole Miss and Eli's playing at UAB. You know, and as you go, that's to me what a program is, though, because you got these guys that are leaving and going and playing big time college football, and then these guys have got to step right in there behind it. And so that's why for us as coaches, when you talk about these kids leaving, we have to prepare our 7th graders and our 8th graders just as much as we're preparing our 11th and 12th graders, because at the end of the day, we're trying to build a program in everything that we do. And so with our guys and our coaches that we have on staff, they're constantly trying to help these young men as we graduate other kids, you know, so others can step right into that role, you know, the very next season.
Coach, let's talk scheme a little bit here. You know, coaches will work with what they've been given. And we know up until the last couple of years with Jake Robertson at Ohatchee had been known for years under Coach Martin as just a run, maybe throw it twice a game. Can you tell us anything about what we can expect this year from the offensive side?
Like you said, you lost Jake. Jake was the guy that stood up there at 6'6". He's playing at Huntington now, and they were able to throw the football a little bit more, and that's because it's the guys they had. They had some receivers there that were at Ohatchee that are not there anymore. And so at the end of the day, we've got our kids that are from Ohatchee, and we're going to come out there every day, and I promise you this, it'll be some smash mouth football and grit and toughness, and we're going to be right there. You're going to have to handle it. It may be one of those things where in the first quarter, stand up against it. Second quarter, keeps wearing on you a little bit, and that was the thing about running the Ugly Eagle under Coach Martin. By the time you got to the third and the fourth quarter, it wore people down because they weren't used to it back in the day. And that's kind of where, to me, we want to get this thing back to. We want to get back to being tough and driving people off the ball and playing great defense. That's the thing, like playing great defense, pursuing the ball and tackling. And because we had those, and we'd say this to the kids all the time, offense sells the tickets, defense wins the championship. So defense is just as important as what we do offensively.
Very good. Time for two more questions.
Right here, Joe.
Braxton, have you noticed anything different about Coach Jennings' approach this year and how he looked at things and worked with you before he became the head coach? The years that he was an assistant and you worked with him, is he different now in any way that you've noticed?
Yeah, and so I think he works just as much with everybody as he did when he left. He likes being involved in the practices and helping everybody get better. And he'll walk around at each drill and he'll tell people, like if they're looking down, he'll tell them to get up. And it's just he encourages everybody. He helps everybody get better. And that's the main thing. Is just get better every day.
Right. He's still a tough coach that I remember, and he's just in a position now to be even more part of the team as the head coach. And I think it's great. I'm super excited for that.
One final question here, Coach. For years, you competed against Piedmont, Welborn, Sachs, Weaver, Pleasant Valley for a long time. And then the last 2 years, you've had a completely different region because you were moved up. What's your thoughts on competing again with Piedmont, Sachs, Weaver?
Those are fun nights.
Welborn, on the hill.
They're fun nights. You just got to love it when you're in this 3A region and everything's so close and you're going to have big crowds at those games. It's just fun. Like you said, going to the hill. We go to Welborn this year and play Coach Smith and them. We know it'll be a war when we show up there that night. Piedmont comes to us. It was, through the years, it's just been some battles between us and Piedmont and Weaver and all these guys. It's a 9-team region. In first region game, we go to Locust Fork, who's had a really good team the past couple of years. So it will be, it'll be fun, more of that rivalry type atmosphere.
We've got a couple minutes left. Let's close it out. Gus and Braxton, give us your final thoughts on what you're most excited about for this football season. Gus?
I'm excited to just be able to go back out there and play high school football. Tough football, go out there, hit somebody in the mouth, and have a good season.
I'm ready to, hit people in the mouth, win some games. I'm just ready to, put full pads on.
Coach, your final thoughts?
I appreciate y'all being here. I will say this, with our coaching staff, we have hired some new guys out there at Ohatchee. Coach Jacob Welch, we hired him. I went to school with Jacob. We did back in Alexandria, and he'll run our defense for us. He's doing a great job for us. David Beagle, he's back coaching basketball. He's our head basketball coach, but he's also coaching our linebackers, and Kevin Williamson and Cole Hurd. Those guys round out my defensive staff, and there's a lot of experience on that side of the ball. Kevin came back with me. He went with me to White Plains, and he's from Ohatchee, so he came back. Those guys are doing a great job every day at practice. Those coaches are for me. On the offensive side of the ball, you got John Williamson still there. Hunter Crider, he teaches English for us. He helps us out. Jason Clark, he's come over from the elementary school. So that's one thing I think, too, with our coaching staff. These guys have come in every day, and they're demanding a lot of these kids, and that's what fires me up. We've got a really good staff, and we're excited about it. And that staff too, one thing that we didn't get to talk about that we've tried to embody is the word us. You know, everything we do is about us. And if your hand's in this huddle, you matter. If your hand's not in the huddle, then so be it. You know, it's going to be about us. It's going to be about the things we do on a daily basis. We're going to go out. We're going to try to get better every day.
You sound excited.
I'm fired up about it. Yes, sir.
Ohatchee Indians, 3A Region